I Management Solutions. Again, we have our guest back again, Stephon Lee with Info IQ, the CEO. On today's session, we're going to be talking about the Info IQ business side of the house on today. Yesterday we kind of focused on the consumer side, but today we're going to focus on the business side. I want you to take your pen, paper, or pencil, whatever you have, and I want you to take notes. This is going to be a power pack session with some valuable information that's going to help businesses out and help businesses protect their customers and their brand. So, Mr. Lee, how are you today, sir?
Excellent. And yourself,
I
Tyrone?
am doing great. Thank you very much for asking, sir.
Definitely. I appreciate being on the call today.
Thank you, sir. So we're just going to get right into it to Mr. Lee. I have a series of questions to ask you. We're going to
Mhm.
follow the same format as yesterday, and I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was power packed. We're going to be releasing that video soon, but we just want to kind of go through it and review it, and before we release it. But look for the video to be come out soon. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you'll be notified when it's put out. But let's start with the questions. Mr. Lee,
Yes, sir.
how many businesses that use QR codes for their marketing know what happens when their customers scan it? So when they send the promotion material out, they have a QR code on the card or paperwork or whatever they send out. How many of them know what their customers are scanning?
From my experience, very few small and medium-sized businesses fully understand the user journey that begins when a QR code is scanned. Now, I want to approach this from two perspectives. One is marketing perspective, and the other security perspective. Now, when we start thinking about marketing perspective, is we need to understand that QR codes are not simply a sticker. A reason I say that because when you have a QR code, you just can't stick it somewhere and figure, hey, I just stuck it here. You need to be aware that it's a doorway into your online world. So what that means is that when you create a QR code, you have to make sure that the links over time is still working in that QR code. Because if you don't, it hurts your customer trust and your brand. That's why QR codes need to be safe and up to date and checked regularly, just like your website. Now, many don't realize that unless the destination for the URL is secure, which I mean by that is HTTPS, and responsive mobile friendly, in other words, or analytical tools are set up properly, and you know from example, different analytical tools like UTM tracking, they miss out on key insight. Now, this is very important because remember, you're asking about how many customers really know how QR code work and how they're really using it. So when we're talking about a QR code, we're talking about a marketing aspect of it. And we're also talking about the technical component of the capabilities that it can do for you on the marketing side as well. But if your QR code is not properly working, or you haven't thought about analytical tools that you could use to better enhance your marketing ability, then you're not really fully aware or have knowledge that you should have about QR codes, because QR codes can be used very effectively for marketing analysis, for analytical data. Now, here's the thing that on the security side I want to address is that some business owners don't realize that QR codes can be used fraudulently. As we talked about on yesterday's interview, QR codes can be a great tool, but this is the issue. There's also safety issues that you have to be concerned about. Now, I'm going to give you an example. We kind of talked about this yesterday, but for today, I have to, since you asked the question about what a small business and medium business know. So what happened, fraudsters, people committing fraud can use your marketing material for their scams by replacing your QR code with their own brand, on your brand with their QR code. Now, if you stop to think about that, you got a great brand, you're using it to communicate with your customers get to know you, they get to trust this brand, and you're using a QR code on it, and it never came in your mind that somebody could take your brand, do the same marketing material, the same solicitation, all the communication, and stick their QR code on it and send it to your customers. Now your customer receive that QR code. They're happy to receive it. They're happy to do what they normally do, and all of a sudden they never considered that that QR code was fraudulent. Because remember, when you have a QR code, they all look the same by the natural eye. So how was the customer supposed to know that it was a fraudulent? It had your brand. It looked like your material. So that becomes very important. So as a result, businesses need to take extra measurement to protect their customer. Now you say, what do you mean by that? What kind of measurement can you take at this point? One thing you want to do, obviously we talked about, is make sure you got a secure website, of course. Make sure it's using HTTPS and that kind of thing for the protocol. Now, what you also want to do with our solution is to what we have is called NFOSAFE. We do a verification where we go through your website, we review it, and then we would score it. And if you have a high score after we go through that process, what we then do is your website, when your customers use our application, the NFO IQ app, and scan QR codes that you generate and have that's going to be related, it's going to be embedded with your website. What happens is that a green shield display for your customers to let them know that your website is safe. Therefore, if you send out a marketing material and someone tries to attempt in a fraudulent way to replace your QR code with their fraudulent QR code on the marketing material, because your customer is now using the NFO IQ app, when they scan the QR code, it's going to show red to let them know this is not you. It's a fraudulent one. And like I said yesterday, the basis of this whole approach, the way we did it to keep it user friendly, when you see red, what do when you see red at a stoplight? You stop, check it out, because this is a point you need to make sure what you're about to do, because the next step could be the wrong step. So you need to verify if it's not verified. That's why we ask the business owner to go through the process and let your website be verified, so you can let your customers know that you have a verified website, and they should use the NFO IQ app to scan your site. So in case an incident of a fraudulent attempt, it would be noticed and stopped.
Wow, wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you caught that. Business owners, I hope you caught that. So there's a couple parts. I'm not going to speak on it too long, but I just want to piggyback over what he just said. So the QR codes that are currently being sent out, a lot of businesses are not tracking it for marketing purposes. They know that they're putting QR codes on correspondence and they are pretty much sending it out, but a lot of them don't know their customers are scanning the codes. But the second part is that for the ones that are sending the QR codes out, they don't know if an individual has taken the QR code and replaced it with another QR code, because there's fraudsters out there that are putting fake QR codes on this identical correspondence that has been sent out by financial institutions, by banks, by other companies, and they don't know because they haven't provided their customers with a solution like NFO IQ to tell them if it's safe to scan that QR code or not. So that's what Mr. Lee just told you. You have to have a product, a solution like this to protect your customers. So let's transition into question number 2. Mr. Lee, what is the potential cost to a business brand if a customer scans a fake QR code that claims to be that business's QR code?
Well, the cost could be tremendous. Even though the business owner did not create the fake QR code, guess what? You're still gonna pay the price for it. And you say, well, what is price? First of all, if you have a solicitation or you use a menu or whatever you're using, and it's in your business, the customer is gonna hold you accountable to keep them safe. So therefore, if they scan a QR code and it's fraudulent, and they experience loss of sensitive information, and worse, even fraudulent activities, they're going to expect that you could have done more to protect them. So you say, well, what would that loss look like? Well, how about the fact that when they blame you, they also have bad word of mouth about your business because they're frustrated. And depends how difficult or bad the situation is, they can't get any solution, and they're not getting any solution from the business owner. Then they're gonna let it out. They're gonna let the frustration out. What about negative online reviews? In some cases, even a single bad incident shared on social media can reach thousands of people. That small business could incur thousands of dollars. Lost revenue. What about lost reputation? What about the long impact of this? It could be far more expensive. Here's the bottom line: to save and to protect yourself, why not take a few steps to try to secure your website, get the InfoSafe verified, and empower your customer with tools that can help them stay safe, like the Info IQ app. So it's very important that you be proactive about these possibilities. You know, I always tell everybody, and all of the major companies would never tell you that they can protect 100%, but it's still without our responsibility to make an effort to do the best we can. So we're here to try to help you as a small business and to help the consumers as well. So we hope that you would take advantage of these opportunities.
Wow, wow. I hope you took note of that. Listen to what he just said. If a fraudulent individual sends out QR codes that pretend to be your brand, right? And those customers get that QR code and all of a sudden they've been scammed, look, they're going to publish massive information out there all across social media. They're going to be contacting the media outlets to pretty much let the media outlets know what's going on with your company. What's also going to happen also to your company is that your company is going to have an influx of calls that come into your organization. You may be properly staffed on today to handle certain amount of call volumes, but if you get bad publicity, you have to be properly staffed to handle bad publicity. So on that given particular day or even days when you're getting that bad publicity information and everyone's calling your company, guess what? You're not going to be servicing your customers on that particular day. It's going to be a loss of revenue. It's going to be a hit to your reputation, and it could be a long time before you even recover, if you recover. That is powerful, Mr. Lee. So let's transition into this third question. How would having a verified green shield next to a business website link boost their credibility in the eyes of potential customers, especially in a world of digital scams?
Well, that's a good question. If you think about it, in today's world, for example, people are constantly warned about fake websites, and you hear it all the time, phishing links and scams. So trust is everything. So because they are already concerned about it, to have a green shield so that with your website, you're going to be telling them that this site has been checked, scored, and proven to be real. And a third party is involved who really have a standardized method of checking all websites. So we're not trying to be favorable to any website. We just want to help you get to the place you need to be where to ultimately be verified. So if your website, even if your website does not meet the 90% score initially, we will work with you over time to get to that 90% with certain actions you've taken along the way. So to have that verification, an objective verification, is another opportunity to show your customers that you are trustworthy and you're making extra effort to prove that you are safe and trustworthy. Now, here's the other thing about this. With our system, because the QR code, when it's scanned, it displays your verified site as green. That makes a difference if someone's clicking because it gives them confidence and that before they even open this link, your website, your company has by a third party, it's been known to be trustworthy. That's very important. Very important. And so the other thing that you also want to consider, especially powerful for a small business, you want to have a strong brand recognition, and at every step along the way, you want verification that says that this business can be trusted. Your website, every step. And so we're coming along the way with the verification process is laying the same foundation that you desire to say this is a trustworthy business. And at the time you scan, you will see it with a green shield that let you know you can proceed on with this particular business and do business with them because the best of our ability, we know we have not found anything to say this business is not trustworthy.
Wow. Wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, protect your business. What he's simply saying is, look, ensure that your business is verified. So in order for you to be verified, you have to be in their system. They have to add you to their system. And we're going to kind of go into more detail about that in the next question here, next couple of questions, so you can really kind of understand what's going on here. But it's going to be very important that your business shows up as verified and show that you have credibility and you're trustworthy. So transitioning into question number 4, what are businesses currently doing to protect their customers from phishing, spoof links, or fake QR codes? What are businesses currently doing, Mr. Lee?
Well, okay, if we take a look at large companies, they have tools like, like for example, secure email filters, domain monitoring, for example, or anti-phishing platform. So you say, okay, great, this is good. Large companies have those things, right? But I'm going to tell you, even with all that, they don't fully protect against one of the greatest growing threats, fake QR codes. Now, I want you to understand that because there's a gap even for the large corporations, because what happened is a scammer goes outside the system. So when they create a QR code, they're saying, okay, I know you're trying to protect within the system. What happens if I just create my own QR code and lay it on top and just ride into your customers through the channels that you have available, and I just use my fake QR code to do it. Now, when that happens, if you don't have the right system to protect against that, is a problem. And that's where NFO IQ and along with NFOSAFE process is filling that gap. And we provide that unique opportunity where we come in and we have two-part solution. One is the NFO IQ app. That is where consumers download the app, and that app, when it scans, it goes through a process where it makes sure it checks that URL, the end location, before it opens, before when you get ready to say, I'm ready to continue, it's already got a green shield, or if it's not, it may be a red shield. But a red shield says stop before you open this up. Now, how does all this work? This is significant because the other part of this, as the NFOSAFE arm, it does the verification. So it meets with all the small businesses, not a medium or any size business. And what we then do is we go through a process where we analyze your business, your website, and we come back with a score. And if that score is 90 or higher, you're going to be verified. Now, what's going to happen going forward is that when your customers scan using our app, the QR code, your website, it's going to show green and it's going to show verified. Now, we are working also to do one other thing that I really hadn't talked to Tyrone about, but we're moving to do that, is that creating what we call a banner that you can put on your website that says NFOSAFE Verified. And then it'll have a link where it'll go back to someone who want to find out. They'll know it's real because it's going to come back to our where we have a web site set up that would have your information about your business there, so they know it's legitimate.
Wow, wow, that was powerful. So, again, what he just told you, look, your company, there are several companies out there. There's several businesses out there, right, that are believing that they're doing everything that they can to protect their customers, to protect their business, right? But Mr. Lee is telling you, look, they're not protecting the QR code aspect of the business. This is where he's like 10 steps ahead of the industry because the industry is currently not doing this. This is where his expertise lies in, where he's providing you with the service and the tools to protect your business, to protect your brand, your image, and your customers. So let's transition into this last question, Mr. Lee.
Hold on, before you go on, let me add one of the comments.
Okay.
The other thing that we're doing is that because there are businesses out there that are in cybersecurity. We're in our future development. We're actually we'll be pulling in their data into our system as well to try to get as close as possible we ever can get to 100% of verification. So that's what we're moving as well. But we have a unique scenario because we're focusing our company is to develop existing around the gap that exists with QR codes. So we're unique in that, and so we're putting a lot of effort in that. So our process requires extra work because we have to actually go through a verification with every small business, and that's what we're working on. So that's how we keep you mostly safe
Wow.
and your customers
Wow.
as well.
That's powerful. Very powerful, sir. All right. Transitioning to this next question. At just $175, InfoSafe verification is less than the cost of one social media ad campaign. Think about that. One less than the cost of a social media ad campaign. How can businesses get started with InfoSafe so they are investing enough in trust and authenticity with their business?
Okay, getting started is easy. InfoSafe is easy, smart, and any business that want to show customers that they are trustworthy, we're here to do that. Now, for the fee, like you said, it's $175 for the year. And what we do, we go through a scoring process. And as I mentioned, you have your score higher than 90% above, it's going to be verified. Now, how do you do it? You go to infosafe.com. You can write this down, and it's spelled NFOSAFE.com.
And I'm going to type that
There's
in
no
my
I
seat.
on info. It's just NFO Safe. So NFOSafe.com. So that's where you go. And then when you go to that page, you click on select, tap on our services. Now when you do that, on the home page, you go down to the bottom of the page, and what you're going to see is a link where you can fill out the InfoSafe application. Once you do that, it's going to take you about 10-15 minutes to get the data that is needed. It's going to automatically, when you hit submit, it's going to come to us. And from there, we normally takes about 3 days or so, and we do the scoring. Now, sometimes we have to call you because there may be questions we have. Just know take our call and help us get the information so we can complete the review. And then after we complete the review, the scoring, then at that point in time, let's say you're 90% or better, higher, then you'll be placed in our database that going forward. Your customer scans QR code, they will see a green shield.
Wow. Wow. Look, ladies and gentlemen, for less than the cost of your marketing ad campaign, you can get your business verified and pretty much eliminate anyone from attacking your reputation as far as security. You definitely don't want anyone attacking your company's reputation for security at all. So before you even send out marketing campaigns, ensure that your business is InfoSafe verified with Mr. Lee's company before sending any information out. So this was very powerful. He just gave you the tools, the wisdom, and the knowledge to protect your business, your brand, and your customers. Mr. Lee, is there anything else you want to say to the business owners out there before we even close out today?
Sure. There's one other thing I want to say is that we just talked about how important it is for the business to do the evaluation and have the evaluation done. Now, after you complete the evaluation, or where we do the scoring, you need to let your customers know that you know about the Q app, so that they can then use it. So when they scan your QR code, it would help them just in case somebody try to do some fraudulent. It would then turn yours would be green, but the fraudulent one would be red, so it would help keep them safe. So that's the part that's going to be very important as well. Not only the first thing you need to do now is go ahead and go onto the website and enter in the information to complete the verification. Second step you need to do is let your customers know so that they can use the NFO IQ app.
Wow. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, he told you, look, business owners, get your business verified, protect your customers by giving them access to the NFO IQ app so that they're not going out there and haphazardly using their phones to scan, because right now the only thing that they have on their phones is an app that was provided by the provider, which is either Android or iPhone. And Android or iPhone doesn't provide that level of security to protect individuals who own those phones. So Android, Samsung, all the companies out there that are making Android phones, I encourage you to contact Mr. Lee so that you can have this app on your customer's phone, which is us. iPhone, I encourage you, Apple, contact Mr. Lee so that you can take this app and put it on your customer's phone to provide that extra layer of protection. I'm encouraging you to do that. So, Mr. Lee, if someone wanted to contact you about getting their business InfoSafe verified, also protecting their customers with Info IQ, how do they get in contact with you, sir?
All right, now if they need to call me, if they want to just go straight to the website, they can, like we talked about through the InfoSafe without the I, NFOSAFE, infosafe.com. That's one option. Now, if they need to reach out to me, they're welcome to do that. And here's my email. It's STEPHONLEE at NFOSmart.com. So that's Stephon Lee at infosmart.com. There's no I in info, it's just NFOSMART.com. Again, my name is Stephon Lee, and that's STEPHON, and at NFOSmart.com. That's one way you're welcome to reach me at any time. The second way, or the first way, whichever is convenient to you, is to go straight to InfoSafe. That's NFOSAFE.com website, and on the home page, you look at the top, and you just go and click our services. And when you do that, go to the bottom of the page, you'll see the form. You can read that everything on that page about our services anyway, but if you get to the bottom, that's where you'll see a link, and you just fill out the form. It's an application, and it's going to ask you probably maybe 14 to 15 things you would need. Is real easy and quick. So once that happens, you hit submit, it comes straight to us, and then we'll start doing the evaluation process.
Oh, wow. So, Mr. Lee, thank you very much for providing the audience with their contact information. Just want to give the opportunity, if the audience has any questions before we close out. One of the things, we know that it is a Friday. We want to give everyone to opportunity to ask questions. And if there's no questions that we have here tonight, I've provided Mr. Lee's contact information in the chat. So I have infosafe.com and infosmart.com, and Mr. Lee's Stephon Lee at infosmart.com.
Yeah, let me repeat it. The email is Stephon Lee, STEPHONLEE at NFOSmart.com. The website is for the to do the verification is NFOSafe.com.
Okay.
That's where you go for this point. Now later on, when you're ready to advise or recommend the app to your customers, that's at the Info IQ.
Info IQ. Okay.
That's the
app. Put that link in there too. All right. I don't see any questions coming through. So that simply means that everyone has the information. They did a good job of taking notes.
Okay.
But again, Mr. Lee's contact information is in the chat, so please reach out to him. Mr. Lee, we thank you once again for joining us on this evening, sir. I hope that you have a wonderful evening, a wonderful weekend, and to the audience out there, enjoy your weekend and have a good evening.
And thank you all so much. It was an honor.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. All right, bye.